So I have my early projections for the NFC playoffs for this year. Let's begin with the golden child of the century, Tom Brady. Let's go to Bruce Arians in his postseason record. He is 4-0 with the Tampa Bay Rays, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is going to be 5-0 in the playoffs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right after the Buccaneers win at home, the number 2 seeded Buccaneers against the number 7 seeded 49ers. Keep in mind that the 49ers last made it to the Super Bowl at Miami as the Santa Clara team. It is the Buccaneers that will defeat the 49ers at Tampa in the wild card round. The learner loses to the master. Tom Brady has 34 career postseason wins. His next can occur against the 49ers because Niners is DiMaggio 34. It is Coach Bruce Arians 4-0 that can be 5-0 in the playoffs with the Buccaneers with Tom Brady right after defeating San Francisco. Brady is DiMaggio 50. San Francisco is DiMaggio 50. It is Inglewood that is DiMaggio 50. It is Bruce Arians that can defeat the 49ers as a former head coach of the Cardinals. And Tom Brady beats his former childhood team, his favorite team growing up, the San Francisco 49ers. It is the LA Rams that will defeat the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round of the playoffs. It is Dak Prescott that is 1-2 in the playoffs. He is going to be 1-3 in the playoffs right after he loses to the Rams again, because it's LA that is DiMaggio 13. And right there is where we're getting the script. The Cowboys lose again in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford is due one back for the horrible pass interference call against the Dallas Cowboys and Tony Romo. He's due one back at his hometown. It is Matthew Stafford that is going to face off at Tampa against the Buccaneers in the divisional round of the playoffs. Well, actually, I cannot decide if that is going to be home or away yet. But the main point, he is going to face off against a team from Tampa in the divisional round of the playoffs. That is what is going to happen. He'll be booking a flight to Tampa to face off against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers fans, they get their money's worth to watch Tom Brady play. So this is exactly why he is going to be off to Tampa. Matthew Stafford, right after he defeats the Dallas Cowboys, because he went to high school over at Dallas, Texas. That first playoff win is going to occur against the Cowboys. He is due one back against the Dallas Cowboys. Sean McVay defeats the Dallas Cowboys again. 0-3 in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford will be 1-3. The team he has to defeat is Dallas. Dallas is DiMaggio 13. And right there, Bruce Arians will not lose to the Rams. That will be the question for the divisional round of the playoffs. Instead, Bruce Arians, as head coach of the Buccaneers, is going to be 6-0 in the postseason when he defeats the Rams. And this may mean that former Cardinals coach Bruce Arians is going to book a trip back home to Arizona to face off against the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game. 6-0, looking to be 7-0, right after defeating Kyler Murray to go 3-for-3 in the NFC playoffs again. This is why Bruce Arians will be 6-0 in the playoffs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over at Glendale, Arizona. That's what's about to wind down. The Cardinals in the postseason all time for Arizona. Arizona was 1-1 and then 4-1, 4-2, 5-3, 5-4. Arizona is 6-5. Arizona can be 7-5 with a win in the postseason during their time at Arizona when they defeat the Green Bay Packers again in the playoffs, like 2015, like 2009. That's what's going to happen. LaFleur has gematria 75. Arizona will defeat the coach of the Packers. The Cardinals will be 7-5 in the playoffs as the Arizona Cardinals. Then the Cardinals lose the NFC Championship game to Thomas Brady, a.k.a. they call this guy the GOAT. So the Cardinals should be 7-6 in the postseason all time. They don't want rival teams winning the Super Bowl at rival stadiums. This is why it's not going to be their year. The Cardinals will be 1-2 in the NFC Championship game against number 12. This will have to be Carolina all over again back in 2015, 2016, because Tom Brady, what he's going to do, he's going to win his 35th game against the 49ers. He's going to win his 36th game in the divisional round against Matthew Stafford, because it is Stafford that is gematria 35. He enters a divisional round with 35 playoff wins. That's why he has to defeat Stafford next. And then right after his 36th postseason win against the Rams is when he faces off against the Cardinals, Tom Brady, which means he defeats the Chicago Cardinals, his 37th win in the postseason to occur at the Buccaneers, books a trip to the Super Bowl to face off against the Vegas Raiders. So, going back to Bruce Arians' record, 5-2 right now. He is 6-2 when he defeats the 49ers. He's 7-2 when he defeats the Rams, which means that he defeats he defeats the 49ers before facing off against Matthew Stafford. And once he defeats the Rams, then he'll be 7-2 in the postseason before booking a trip to Glendale, Arizona. It is Coach Cliff Kingsbury that can face off against the Bucs. It is Coach Cliff Kingsbury that was the third string quarterback for the championship team over at Houston. He was a backup quarterback with Bill Belichick, with Tom Brady. He won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 38. And so all this is happening while the Raiders end a 38-year championship title spell. And so we know the Cowboys will lose. Absolutely. If we go to the record, well, we're done with Tom Brady right now. Well, we're not done with Tom Brady. His wild card record, 6 playoff games and 4 victories, a lot like the gematria of the next opponent, the LA Rams, for example. Tom Brady in the divisional round defeats the Rams for his 15th divisional win over at Tampa. The Bucs get home territory this time. The Bucs win. This is where you get Tampa and Rams. In the conference championship, 11-4 his record is going to be. Tom Brady, 11-4 when he defeats the Cardinals, because the Cardinals has gematria of 114, and Tom Brady would be 11-4 when he defeats the Cardinals in an NFC Championship game. So that's something to keep an eye out. Coach Sean McVay, 4-3 in the postseason when he defeats the Cowboys, and now he gets to face off against the champion at Tampa. And notice how the Cardinals' playoff record is 7-9 all time. All time is 7-9. And we'll get to the Packers in a second. Dak Prescott remains at 35 postseason wins. This is going to have something to do with next year. There's no doubt about it. His playoff win, his 36th playoff win, could occur in a year that the Super Bowl is held by the Cardinals. That's all I have to say for the Dallas Cowboys. As for San Francisco, postseason record 32 wins. His 22nd loss is to Tom Brady because Tom Brady's initials. Tom Brady's initials is 22, and they're at 32 wins with Jimmy G. We will see Garoppolo up against Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady will visit the Super Bowl that he won his fourth Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. This was on the 33rd day, back in 2015 in Super Bowl 49. I think close to 7 years later is when he makes this next trip to this stadium because he was not playing in 2016. Jimmy Garoppolo started the season opener that year. So, with that being said, close to 7 years later, I can see him defeating the Cardinals over there. As for who the Packers are going to play, is a pretty intriguing question. The Saints blew out the Packers in the first game. Aaron Rodgers can face off against New Orleans. He's trying to make it back to the Super Bowl. I think this is going to be a playoff rematch. The Saints are going to rally behind. They're going to be 2-4. They're going to go on a big run, right after they win that first home game with the fans back. I mean, Jameis Winston's going to be in the playoffs. I think the other team that's going to be in there is going to be the Saints. It is fitting, though, that Saints has gematria of Lambeau. When we go to Aaron Rodgers, it would be 13-9 and 13-10. But in the divisional round, I see Aaron Rodgers going 6-4 in the divisional round right after he loses to the Cardinals because he defeated the New Orleans Saints in the wild card round to make it to the divisional round. New Orleans Saints has gematria 64. So Aaron Rodgers, his divisional round record will be 6-4 right after the Saints. They defeat the Saints in the wild card round of the playoffs. So the Saints will travel to Lambeau Field for that. And champions has gematria of 98, and only fitting to go up against a 13-time NFL champion includes the pre-Super Bowl era. Really thinking about Jameis Winston being there in action in the wild card round of the playoffs. The Saints will probably be the team that makes a late run in Carolina chokes. And this is how it will be. This was a huge blowout from week 1. Which the answer lies with the Saints' seasons. Their 24th playoff game can occur against the 24th overall pick of the draft, which is Aaron Rodgers, by the way. You see, the Saints are on a little streak going on right here. Can they keep this thing going? I don't think so. As for Coach Matt LaFleur's playoff record, 2-2 will be 3-2. Now this here may be interesting because it's Darnold. That is gematria 32. That's the only 32 connection that I can think of. But Matt LaFleur will be 3-3 in the postseason when he loses to Kyler Murray in the divisional round. Glendale's DiMaggio 33, Murray's DiMaggio 33. Yeah. Packers lose at Glendale again. 3-3. The Cardinals beat the Packers in the playoffs. J.J. Watt either makes a trip to Lambeau. It's a pretty interesting element to this. This would have to be at Arizona. Let me just see what Hurricane gives us. Ida is DiMaggio 14. And let's see for Sean Payton. Or rather for the list of Saints seasons, I should say. Probably got rid of that page. Ida is DiMaggio 14. And he can face off against the Saints. I want to say that's going to be the case. I think I look at the list of seasons. So their 55th season is this year. I can conclude at Lambeau.